If there's one question I get asked more than any other, it's how do you find time to do it all? And I'm proud of what I've created and what I've learned about time management over the years. No, I'm not perfect, but I have been working on this for 10 or 15 years to kind of perfect how I can get everything done without stressing myself out. So these are just some things that I do. I'm not telling anyone they have to do this, but since we can all learn from each other, I think this is some good insight into what you can learn from me about time management, considering that I have 5 kids. I'm married and have a full-time job and 2 full-time blogs. And when I originally wrote this as an article, I was also going to school full-time, getting my bachelor's degree, and I was writing a book and starting the YouTube channel. And I was stationed at one of the busiest fighter bases in the world, so active duty military. So taking care of all of that, plus finding time to read and exercise and do all this other stuff, it took a toll and it was not easy. So this is kind of what I came up with. So let's talk about it. Please don't forget to subscribe for more of these videos, money, minimalism, our travel journey around the world. We publish a new video every week. So how do I find time to do it all? Let's recap real quick. So I'm active duty military, stationed overseas, which means that we're automatically busier. I run 2 active blogs as a side business. I run this YouTube channel. And like I said, when I wrote this originally, I was a full-time student working on my bachelor's degree, which I have now. And I still found time to read, exercise. I still tried to spend as much time as I could with my family. And then at the time we were traveling Europe and we're traveling Japan now. And this is also dealing with any deployments, our training, our temporary times that I was away from home. But the main thing was when I was at home, I would try my best to be fully at home. When I was at work, I was fully at work so that I didn't bring one into the other. So how do I fit it all in? It really comes down to one word: schedule. That's it, the end. All right, roll credits. No, okay, let me explain. This is what I mean when I say schedule. I have a to-do list. I have a calendar and how they kind of work together. I need to explain that piece of it because that's where the magic happens. So I use an app called Chaos Control. They don't pay me to say that. I'm not getting any sort of money for you downloading the app, but I use an app called Chaos Control. It has a to-do list built in and it also has a calendar built in. So the schedule is the thing that allows all of this stuff to happen in my life. I know everything that needs to get done because of my to-do list, but me actually transferring that to my calendar is what makes it happen. If you have 5 things to do, throw them on your schedule and it's actually going to happen. If you just leave them on your to-do list, the majority of things on a to-do list never get checked off. And I'm a big fan of rituals, kind of doing the same thing, like daily rituals, and I actually plan it out to the minute. I think it's fun. Some people don't, but we'll talk about it. This is just me trying to be all about intentional time management. I think it's very important. I think you can get a lot more done and you can reduce your stress a lot by being very intentional with your time management. And of course, we cannot manage time itself. We can only manage how we use time. So that's what we're talking about here. And that's what the calendar's for. That's what a schedule is for. So I want to dive into how my mornings go to show you how you can be productive aside from your family. Hopefully your family is too, but talking to you as the individual. But before that, we're going to talk about what I mean by scheduling every minute or planning every minute. So I schedule every minute of my day. I say that, but it usually comes down to maybe as small as a 15-minute block. I don't do things for 6 minutes or 7 minutes, but I schedule every minute of my day, and I think it's really important because it allows me to get a lot more done than I would without any sort of schedule, or if it was just very vague, like get these 3 things done between these times. I don't do it like that. I do schedule it to the minute. And scheduling to the minute shouldn't be stressful because it's not one of those, if you miss this by 1 minute, then you're getting behind and everything's just running behind. It's all fluid. It's all flexible. You can change any of it that you need to. And that's the important thing to know, is that if you have a schedule by the minute and you go over for 5 or 10 minutes, you may have to completely cut something out, and that's fine. You just cut it out, or you just do it for a shorter period of time. It's about having that structure, and it's okay if that structure seems to be getting out of hand. It's probably not. It's probably just you freaking out. It's okay if something takes a little bit longer. But scheduling every minute of your day really kind of opens your eyes to where you do spend time. You may not realize you spent an hour scrolling Facebook feed or on Snapchat, but you do realize that whenever you schedule every minute of the day. But I just really want to harp on that. It's not a hard schedule. If you have something that ends at 4 o'clock and it goes to 4:15, then you just cut the next thing by 15 minutes. It's okay. It's like a budget. The more you do it, you will get used to it, and it will make a lot more sense, and it'll be a lot more realistic. At first it might be super unrealistic because you probably don't realize how long things take you. Just daily things like to take a shower, brush your teeth. You probably think differently than they do. I know when I've timed those things before, I thought things took 10 minutes and they take 30, and I've thought 30 and they take 10. But just know that it doesn't have to be a hard schedule. This is a fluid, flexible thing, but I do recommend scheduling every minute, even if it's just an experiment for 30 days, just to see where your time is going. You don't have to stick with it, but if you want to get more out of your time, and if you want to be less stressed, you can put everything on your calendar. So I'll show you some specifics in my morning ritual. And also I did a video on creating a weekly schedule with your family, so definitely check that out. I think that's going to be really helpful for you. So I know this video is about how to be productive as a family, how to have a productive family life and spend your time productively, but for you personally watching, I want to talk a little bit about how you can spend your time productively aside from your family. This is what I do, and anyone can kind of apply this. I use my mornings. You don't have to use your mornings. Some research has shown that your brain is more analytical at nighttime, so it's good to make lists and to do kind of the tedious things, and it's more creative in the morning. So if you do have some sort of creative outlet or hobby or business like writing or producing something like these videos, it is better to do those in the morning time, according to some research. Some people are night owls, some people are morning people. I don't think you have to convert to being a morning person. I did a whole video on a productive family morning ritual, so I'll put a link to that, but I don't think you have to be a morning person. It's just what works for me, and you can try it. And if it doesn't work for you, then try the evenings or the afternoons. Try a different time. Just figure out what works for you. And I do use the word ritual instead of routine, because I think ritual implies that it's an intentional thing that you're scheduling and that you're doing, and that you're doing a set amount of things. Routine seems to be something that you just fall into. That's not what we want here. We want a ritual. We want an intentional ritual. I know ritual also sounds kind of weird and whatever, spiritual. I'm not using that sense of the word, just a list of things that you do ritualistically. Ritualistically is the word, right? So I always plan my mornings the night before, and this is what a typical morning looks like for me. 0300, wake up, make coffee, usually Croatian, sometimes Turkish. 0315 is Bible study and prayer time. 0345, journal. I keep a private journal online. 0400, write or record videos for Freedom Sprout. 0500, write for my other blog and edit my writer's posts. I don't write a whole lot for that blog anymore, but I do publish hundreds of articles a year, so I edit quite a bit. 0600, check email for the first time of the day. I typically only check email once a day. Occasionally I'll check it once in the evening, usually just once a day. 0630, get our kids up and have our morning ritual that I talked about in the other video. 0700, walk the kids to the bus stop. 0710, get ready for the gym. 0730, drive to the gym, listening to an audiobook on the way. 0800, I work out, lifting, cardio, or both depending on the day. 0830, shower, get ready for work. 09 o'clock, I go to work. I do have physical training built into my schedule, my actual work schedule, because our duty day starts at 7 o'clock, but in the military, they do give us time to work out. It is part of our job. Staying fit is part of it. But the point is, I get more done before 8 o'clock in one day than I used to get done in an entire week. And the reason is because I actually schedule all of those things, and I have this daily ritual that I follow. That doesn't mean you have to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, or 4 or 5 or 6. Like, you wake up at whatever time works best for you. The point is, if you want to be productive and you have a lot going on outside of your family, you're going to have to find a time either in the evenings, in the afternoons if the kids are napping, depending on their age, or in the mornings to carve out a few hours for yourself. Even if you don't have another side business or anything like that going on, you still need to carve time out for yourself. It's extremely important to help reduce your stress levels, especially for young moms and dads that may be stay-at-home parents. You need to carve out time in the morning or the evening, or you're going to burn yourself out. You have to have some time alone, some time away from the kids, maybe some time with your spouse, but carve out that time. Or do both. Do alone time and do time with your spouse. That's the best way to do it. And find ways to be productive with your time, things that you might not even think about. For example, whenever we moved to Italy, I knew I was going to be busy. I was at one of the busiest fighter bases in the world. I was trying to do the book writing and trying to do the blogging and all this other stuff. I knew I was going to be busy, so we chose to get a house that was 30 minutes from the base, so that I knew at least an hour round trip every day I would be able to listen to books, because I had zero time to actually read at the time. And for intentional time management, you have to set some parameters. I don't get on the computer after I get home from work. My computer time and my work time is always in the morning. We don't usually turn the TV on unless it's a family movie night, but we usually prefer a family game night. And occasionally my mornings fluctuate. There were times whenever I had to replace my writing time for my blogs with homework when I was in school. I tried not to do that, but it happens. I was really trying to do my homework on my lunch break because it seemed to be more productive. I could spend my time at home doing stuff that wasn't related to my degree, and then I could just do that on my lunch break, but when it worked out. You can also have backup time slots, like you have this time, maybe 5 o'clock in the morning, you do something, and you know the second time slot for that thing, if it doesn't happen, is your lunch break. I've seen people do it that way. That's another option, something to think about, whatever works for you. We usually spend the weekends traveling. It used to be Europe, now we're trying to travel Japan when COVID's not being a complete jerk, but we try to spend the weekends together traveling, so I don't have that time to do a lot of personal work and stuff like that. And a final just shout out to minimalism. Because of how much we've downsized and cleaned out the garage and got rid of stuff, we used to spend a lot of weekends and a lot of time going through our stuff and going through our junk and trying to get rid of stuff. That is important, and you do need to do that at some point, but once you actually get rid of most of that stuff and you're not bringing new stuff in, you don't have to feel guilty spending your weekends traveling or just leisurely with your family because you have all the stuff in your garage. If you get that stuff cleaned out, you don't have to feel guilty about that. You get it all done. You don't have things like that lingering over you that you have to do at your house. You can just spend the weekends relaxing with your family. So it all basically comes down to this. If you rid your life of all the unimportant things that steal your time, and you plan your days in advance with intentional rituals, you can do the things that you didn't think you had time for. It requires effort to start planning this way, but aren't you trying to make the most out of this life? I mean, seriously, aren't you trying to make the most out of this life? Intentional time management is the way to do it. And again, it's like a budget. It's a little stressful at first, but once you get it down, you're going to be so much more productive with your time. And it's going to be freeing because you have things scheduled and you have even the leisure time and the family time scheduled. So you know it actually happens. Instead of saying, oh, I don't want to hard schedule that. You schedule it because you know it's actually going to happen. Before you go, please don't forget to subscribe for more videos on money, minimalism, our travel journey around the world, things like this, family, time. It's actually an entire chapter about time and being productive with it with the family in my book, Intentional Children. I'll put a link to that below so you can check that out. That is all for today. I will see you next week.